hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, New Japan, everything in between, every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., alongside Kaliko Yachts.
I mean, if I'm talking all jacked up, it's because the cracked lips of dry Las Vegas has fucked me over WrestleMania weekend. It was dry as fucking Vegas. You will never appreciate water more so than being in Vegas during a dry weekend. Like,
Well, it was
had me damn near taking the sensors off that shit. Out my hotel room. Paying $20 an ounce for water and shit. Like, Jesus.
Well, it was good for the wrestling wit and the wet lips, as we interviewed Mike Biggs and Adonis Allen last week. Two incredible interviews. Definitely go check those out if you haven't already in the archives. But always looking towards the future. This Monday, yes, we're bringing back the Monday interviews at the ending of the month. We have Chris Kendricks. We talk about his time at Dr. Tom's school. We talk about being new in his wrestling journey, taking a break from wrestling for a while, coming back, and anime as well. So definitely a fun chat there. On Tuesday we have Dave Jameson, somebody a little further into his career. We talk about having multiple championships from multiple not countries, multiple companies. We talk about being a second generation wrestler with wrestling his uncle, his father being a promoter. We talk about transformations of his character, and even a cameo in JCW as well. So that's definitely a fun one as well. And then this Wednesday we have Leslie Lorenzo. We talk about becoming a new father, taking some time off from pro wrestling, coming back wanting gold and vengeance. We talk about a Waffle House match, and we talk about winning tag team gold in his first match ever. So a lot to unfold in those interviews. I believe Leslie's, it's his first ever interview ever as well. So, new content from Wrestling Wit. So, definitely check those out when they drop, this week. And always looking towards the future. On the 5th, we have Kamikaze. On the 6th, we have Luke Powers. On the 12th, we have Adam Morton. And on the 13th, we have Bull Madrid. So, May already heating up to be a good month for Wrestling Wit. Definitely check out our social media for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Alright, I think we're done putting ourselves over. Kaliko, no?
Oh yeah, I got some people to put over, all right. I got some.
Well, it's a great day.
Actually, I got a list to bury. Rather.
You have a over under list.
Yes, over under list. Yes,
Gotcha.
correct.
Well, it's a great day for wrestling because we are wrestling with the news. And it was not a good day for WWE employees as the after Mania cuts were made. And we have the full list as of this recording. More may be released as time progresses, but this is the list as it stands now. Alright, we have Alba Fire, Aleister Black, Andre Chase, Apollo Crews, Bo Dallas, Chris Island, Dante Chen, Dexter Loomis, Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, Kairi Sane, Luca Cristofino, Malik Blade, the Motor City Machine Guns, Nikki Cross, Santos Escobar, Serena Linton, Trill London, Tyra May Steels, Tyreek Iwee, Tyson DuPont, Zelina Vega, and Zoe Starks. Kaliko, what name sticks out the most to you on that list?
Um, it was funny. I was just talking to my insider about this. And do you know how conflicted he is with this? Because half that roster is on LFG season 3 in the first 4 episodes.
Okay, so they just didn't get cut; they got cut.
They got cut, and but the problem is the episode's already done and they're ready to get premiered.
Right.
So, so there's that part. Like Zelina Vega, Aleister Black, a lot of those guys were the guys that were doing LFG. I mean, Aleister and Zelina will be okay. The one I felt most sorry for was Zoe Stark, because it was like every time she kind of got caught into the Tegan Knox role. Like every time she tried to gain traction, she tore her ACL. It was just like, I felt like that was like potential that could have been, right?
Right. No, you're not wrong.
Like that's the one I think that breaks my heart the most. Andre Chase, I mean, Chase U was over, but after Chase U, it kind of fizzled for him. So it was kind of hard to come back from that, because especially for a guy like him, because he got pigeonholed into that character. So once you're pigeonholed, it's hard to evolve from that, right?
And that gimmick was never going to get over on the main roster as well.
Right, because it requires people to love like the spirit of college, and that is a tough sell
for the main
for
roster,
people
anyway.
like. For the main roster, because you got to think. Not that many people go to college, so you're trying to sell the spirit of college. Granted, it might have worked in the Southeast because they don't have to go to college to love college football, or the Midwest, but from a national standpoint, yeah, it's tough. Apollo Crews.
It's hilarious. Apollo Crews is hilarious to me because, like, he literally just popped up last week. It was like, oh, hey, Apollo Crews is still employed there. And then
in the Battle Royal, right? And I'm like, holy shit, he's
still employed. And then obviously Triple H felt the same way. It's like, holy shit, he's still employed. Cut.
There was a bunch of them, like him. Who else was there? Who else was in that Royal Rumble? I mean, it was half of the fucking Royal Rumble's gone. So shit, there you go.
Yeah.
But
I was honestly most.
Cristofino.
Yeah. Oh, continue.
I mean, Cristofino never really got anything going after the Tony D'Angelo thing, and then Tony D'Angelo comes back like fucking the Geico caveman, and that's a thing. But I mean, he kind of got X'd out after the whole mafia thing went down. A lot of these people that got cut, I mean, in the Wyatt Six, Jesus Christ, that's just, I mean, they just got rid of everybody there. They were like, fuck it, like, cut the losses.
I'll put a pin in that for a moment, but the one that really surprised me the most was Kairi Sane, because, like, she was, like, in a major rivalry in a major program with Asuka and Io. And obviously,
yes,
she was bullied through, like, that whole long, program. Never got her comeuppance, never got that match with Asuka, never got going. So, I mean, it's that all of that was kind of wasted because she's not. It was the battle for Kairi.
There's no payoff.
Right.
Yeah, there's no payoff, and that's the other part, because it's like, but then again, people, it kind of feels like I have to give my insider on this because the 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 going thing is that she was kind of like reckless and more mistake prone in the ring in the beginning. So it kind of like
That's interesting because
I
I
guess that
never heard that about Kyrie.
I mean, she was kind of, she was kind of botchy at like towards like the middle of last year.
I mean, there's a difference between being
Uh,
botchy and being dangerous, I would say.
I mean, but I mean, it's kind of like that reputation. But I don't know. I have to get with my connect to vouch for that part. But he's still in shock because he was like, "Damn, that's half of LFG." Like I said, season 3. So,
Right.
God, and they were recording LFG at WWE World. So that's where it's like, well, shit, we got all this content, and you just cut half the motherfuckers that are on the content. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, like, what's the point?
it's like, what's the fucking point, right? So you got that part. So I mean, yeah, Kyrie is also an interesting one because shit, they were just doing the whole trio thing with Asuka and Io, and
Right.
I don't get what their angle is. But you knew it was coming, though. You kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
knew these cuts were coming. The shocking ones were like, holy shit,
Yeah.
because it
And
felt like Aleister Black and Zelina Vega got cut.
honestly,
Right?
no.
It's kind.
I
They were
don't.
useless after the Damian Priest
Right.
feud, but
I don't think that anybody was truly shocking except Kyrie, honestly, because Alistair kind of took that, Karrion Cross role, and I'm sorry, but Karrion Cross didn't get over in that role. So, what was Alistair Black going to be any different in that role? Uh, I'm upset for Selena because, like, she was a chicken salad maker. I mean, she could, like, everything that they gave her, like, she tried to make it work. Like, Queen of the Ring, LWO, even being good with her
oh,
husband.
the U.S. title run.
Yeah. So, I mean, she tried with what she was given, but, it just never clicked, unfortunately. But I feel like she was somebody that you could have still utilized or capitalized, even though she was kind of in wrestling purgatory, so to speak. You know what I mean?
But true. But then again, they cut like literally everybody from the Secret Harvest for Chelsea Green. So
Yeah, I feel bad for
it,
Alba because she was good in that role, and now nobody. Chelsea has nobody to push her in her wheelchair, and that's sad.
yeah, it's basically her and herself. Like she got to get some more. I mean, although you're at WWE World, they had. I mean, I think the people are protecting Chelsea Green at all costs. I'm just dead ass serious. Like, the amount of support that she has. I mean, just because she kind of goes out of her way when it comes to like fan interaction, that that alone is going to keep people protecting her at all costs.
Oh yeah, but I also it's not really a surprise that the Riot Six got cut because unfortunately they never they came back, they got pops, but they were kind of pigeonholed in a tag team division, even though there was multiple of them, and they never really did anything, and they never put the pieces together. You know, I would say that Bray was always interesting before he got into the ring, but when the bell rang, it kind of was what it was when it came to the matches. But, I mean, Riot 6 never even got to get to the matches. They didn't even get to do the promos going forward. I feel like they left a lot on the table because they could have done something with Howdy and John Cena. They could have done something with Howdy and Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, etc., etc. But they never went there. And I don't know if that's because they didn't believe in Bo, that they gave him, the Bray Wyatt push, or what. But it, there was a lot. I feel like there was a lot of potential there that they never really decided to pull the trigger on. And unfortunately, it just everything that they did fell to the wayside.
Um, I, I think they were a victim of being pigeonholed into a teamless tag division.
I mean, it was probably one of the SmackDown had one of the strongest tag team divisions at one point, I would say. While they were
That is true, but
while they were
that's
tag team
true.
champions. Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like they were doing because it was. I mean, even with the Y6, it was easy to kind of make them do like a Freebird rule. They literally could have made it the Freebird rule.
But they never did it.
Thus,
did they?
But they never did, and no, they never did. It was always Gacy and Loomis.
Yeah.
So that is why I was like, okay, you put them, because it would have been a lot. It would have been more logical for them to rule the tag team division if they were implementing the Freebird rule, because you wouldn't know who you got. You could have got Howdy and Loomis. You would have got Howdy and Gacy. You would have got Gacy and Loomis. You would have got Loomis. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It would have made it interesting because it would have been different people on different given nights, which would have made it hard. And honestly, I think that would have gave them a longer reign as tag champions, because you never knew who you were going to get on any given night.
Right.
But for some odd reason, they seem to not implement the Freebird rule for them, and that's kind of hell. Even Nikki Cross could have jumped in that fray, right?
I mean, they don't do a lot of intergender, but I cut what you mean.
The neutral gender, but my point is that could have been on the table, right?
Right. I understand.
And they never, right. So it just never fermented into anything, and people were just kind of like, okay, you're Bray Wyatt's underlings. What are you going to do from there? And I kind of put that on the WWE because, to be quite honest, you knew that Bray was kind of like the brainchild of where this was going to go. And you kind of pigeonholed them to carry the legacy of someone where they don't even know where Bray was going, if that makes sense.
But I feel like, unfortunately, at times it felt like Bray didn't know where it was going. And that's kind of where...
Well, I would say Bray got kind of pigeonholed into where he was going. Because I could see him wanting to go one way, and Vince would make him go another way.
But the thing with Bray was that he was always in a prominent position. He was always upper mid card, and they never gave Bo Dallas that same regard. They never gave him that opportunity. You know what I mean?
No, right. I mean, the best that they gave it to him was when he was the NXT champion.
No, I'm talking about in the Howdy gimmick. Like, we only got...
I mean, the Howdy gimmick...
We only got him versus
No, go ahead.
They gave us Chad Gable and Solo Sikoa, and that was literally it.
Yeah, but I would have... I mean, that's what kind of threw me off, because it just seemed like... I would have thought Bray had a whole... I mean, they only could have went after Randy Orton, the person that set him on fire. They only could... it was a lot of people that they could have went,
there was no
on that shit list.
There was no shortage of people, Kaliko. There was no shortage.
Right? No. But that's my point. There was no shortage of people, yet they got pigeonholed into certain people.
Right. And
So I put that on creative, because you mean to tell me Uncle Howdy coming back, going after Randy Orton, like, motherfucker, you set him on fire. We going at it.
right. I think that because obviously Bray Wyatt was the brainchild of all of this gimmick, so he was obviously going to be the one dictating what happened. And I don't think that the
Right.
writers that were assigned to this gimmick necessarily
Knew
knew
what the fuck was going on.
what they wanted to do with it. And I don't think that
Right.
Bo had enough of a voice, whether that's, him actually speaking up or having, a little bit of power to actually flex and say, this is what my brother would have wanted. That's complete speculation on my part, but it kind of seems like the most likely of scenarios.
Right. And like, he didn't have the leverage to dictate where the story of Bray goes. Yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense.
Right. Well, as we go out with the old, there is always new. And on Monday, we got new. Ethan Page and Sol Ruka were made their WWE main roster debuts. I think Ethan is going to strive on Raw. I'm really glad that he's on Raw, and I think that they really gave him a really solid first night on the show, fighting obviously Javon, who he has history with, so they could work well together, and it really showed him off really well. So I think it's all up from here. Just give him, the opportunities and he'll hit home runs. Um, Sol Ruka, on the other hand, I would say that the match was solid by all means. The promo was a little bit wonky, but I think we'll get there with her. We'll talk about Tuesday after we get your comments about their debuts.
I mean, Ethan's got the mouthpiece where it could save him, right?
Right.
So Ethan has and granted, I'm assuming that they're just gonna keep him heel. As long as they keep him heel, he'll be okay, because he has the aura of a person that you would love to hate, right?
Yes.
Soul, on the other hand, it's really, really dicey on the Raw roster,
Really?
because it's the reason I say it's dicey is because let's face it. The top of the card is what? Liv, Stephanie,
Io,
Io.
Oscar.
Well, no, considering Io is on SmackDown, but Asuka.
No, Io stayed
Who
on
else
Raw.
is on that roster?
Rhea went to
Oh,
SmackDown.
Io staying on Raw. So you got those three. So the problem is that, like, she kind of has to separate herself from the two most popular people on that. I mean, the three most popular, to be quite honest. Because Liv, even though she's a heel, she's uber popular.
Right.
Io is uber popular, and then Stephanie is. I kind of feel like. I feel like they're waning on her because of the language barrier, but yet they don't do it for Io. It's kind of weird how that works, right?
I think that if they're
But
waiting on her for any reason, it's because it was the the rivalry she had with Liv was a little wonky, if I'm being honest. So I mean, get her into a proper rivalry where you could actually protect her where you need to protect her, and I think she'll be fine.
well, it was wonky because it came from a bad angle.
Right.
Cause like for Stephanie to tell Liv that Liv didn't earn shit when we sat here and watched Liv grind for 10 years, like, bitch, who are you talking to? You know what I'm saying? It put her in a bad position, what I'm saying.
Right.
And and that's where I'm kind of, like I said, it's dicey with Soul, because I can see them putting Soul, if they put someone of Stephanie's caliber in that dicey position, I can see them putting her Soul in a dicey position. And
So,
considering that Soul's not the strongest on the mic,
right.
and 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 especially when it's Raw, you kind of gotta separate yourself as the character, and that is where I say it's dicey, because
And
Io, for all intents and purposes, her character is kind of set. The aerobatic chick who can't speak English but will fucking dive off anything,
and will fuck
and
you up. Io has an attitude
and
to
will
her.
yeah, and will fuck you up. So the problem is that Soul is kind of like the English version of that. Yet, it's like they could kind of pitch out, well, we already got that with Io.
So, Soul is Soul going into her, debut was in a really good position. And I feel like these last 2 days, and that's insane to say, the 2 days, and they kind of shit all over her and kind of ruined her, because that promo on Raw did not do her any favors against Liv, by any stretch of the imagination. And then you go into the match with Zarya, the the last woman standing match, and my God, was that the worst but that was the worst match I've seen in a really long time, because it made both girls look like absolute shit. Zarya, for anybody that doesn't know, they were on that pedestal that's behind um, the announcer's table. There was two
Yeah,
tables
yeah,
were set underneath them, and they were fighting to see who was going to throw who off. Now, Sol got advantage of Zarya, and she was holding onto her. All she had to do was let go. Zarya would drop, and she would win the match. But Zarya is like, no, no, Sol, I love you, Sol. You're my best friend. I'm so sorry. And it made Zarya look so bad, because she's supposed to be like this killer from the Badlands, and this Mad Max girl that will fuck you up, and she's literally begging for mercy for a girl that's like two times two times less the size of her, and
right,
and then Soul brings her in for a hug and saves her and forgives her. And it makes Soul look like shit, because you knew that Zarya was going to betray her in that moment. It makes her look like a chump. And she was a chump. And Zarya could have drew. All she did was push her. And it wasn't even that good of a push. And ironically enough, that push fucked her up more than it necessarily needed to. And it looked a lot worse if she had done something more. She could have powerbombed her off her. She could have slammed her. She could have made the push look a little better than it actually did. It made both of them look so bad. And I feel like Soul, going forward, really needs to have an attitude adjustment to say, and I have a bit of an ego to say, yeah, I was double fucking champion. Yeah, I held 2 champions at one time. Yeah, I almost won the Royal Rumble one time. My best friend was sour grapes on me because I'm so great. She needs an edge. She's too timid right now. And if she keeps that timid nature, she's gonna get eaten. She needs confidence going forward. Agree?
Well, the problem with this is that all of this could have been avoided had Zarya just dominated from Jump Street, from Stand and Deliver on.
Yeah.
Because you want to know why, the reason why that is, because it would have kept Soul in the I don't know what happened phase. And it would have kept her, it would have kept her in that phase and trying to figure it out, right? Trying to, it would have, like her getting her ass handed by Zarya, a new and improved Zarya, would force her to try to find that edge, if that makes sense.
No, you're absolutely right. But I mean,
So
even
that's why I was like, it made no sense for Soul to beat Zarya at Stand and Deliver when Zarya is the one who has the better grudge against Soul, because Soul has done it all. So it would have made sense for Soul to be like, to be in the position that I have done it all. I don't know what's happening, but I need to figure out how to get back to where I was, or to level up to ascend to a level past where I was. And that would have been a story arc to carry her to the main roster, because keep in mind, she goes to the main roster, goes against Liv beats her. That would have been another chink in the story arc of, I don't know what's going on, but I need to figure out what I need to do. Even with the NXT, like the last woman standing, her losing once again, another chink on the armor to get people to buy into her, because they already were sold on her when she beat Bailey.
right.
They were sold on her. So now you see, okay, I had the highest of highs, I'm at my lowest of lows, and I need to figure out what can I do to get to where I need to go. And that would have been an easy story to get people involved in, to get her to ascend. But for some odd reason, and that's a win-win, because Zarya gets to look dominant trying to go after the NXT Women's title, which, let's say she whooped Soul twice, you have a formidable opponent for Lola Ice.
Right.
So I, 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 I just don't get it. Like, even if Zarya loses, the point is you got someone who is formidable, look forward to rival her for the title. And then Soul could carry on onto the main roster trying to figure it out.
It's crazy
But
because
what do I know? I
like
don't know shit.
2 months ago, I mean like 3 months ago, I was like, I put money down that a Soul was going to debut on the night after Raw. Like it was written in the stars. But I kind of imagined
Yeah.
that she'd be in the position that she's in right now, going there. That it's to the fact that, if she's not in a good position this time next year, she might be a part of those cuts. You know what I mean?
I I wouldn't go that far. I just think that when she beat Bailey, that's when they could have capitalized on it. Or when Zarya turned on her, that would have been another. They had two opportunities to capitalize at a high and at a low. When she beat Bailey, they should have capitalized on the high, but they didn't.
Right.
But now you're trying to capitalize on a low, but it is a low where it seems like you don't know what the hell she is, because how do you lose to a person that you beat at stand and deliver? You see what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I
And
mean,
that's what pisses me off the whole thing with this thing, because it was like, This should have been a Zarya clean sweep. Point blank, period.
It should have, but it didn't.
But now it's not. But now it makes, because I don't know. It's like, I'm pretty sure the NXT crowd and the Raw crowd are the same crowd.
Not necessarily.
Somewhat. No. Somewhat. Like, I would say 40%.
I would go a little lower than that, maybe 30%.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that Oba crowd seemed to carry over. Because the Trick Williams crowd seemed to carry over.
Because he's a big bastard that struts to the ring. Like, who's not going to cheer for that?
I mean, he made Brock retire. I'm just saying, like,
exactly.
Random dude makes Brock retire.
Okay, I mean,
we'll get to that later, but
I mean, if you never saw Oba Femi wrestle before he made his debut on the main roster, wouldn't you say, look at that big, glorious bastard? What is he all about? Like, this guy has Brock Lesnar vibes to him. So, I mean, there's aura to Oba. And I'd even give that to Trick. Like, you didn't need to know a lot about them beforehand to like them. You know, they got themselves over in a short amount of time.
I don't know. Trick needed to use that mouthpiece a little bit, because that 10 pounds of bounce that ass promo had me like, yeah, he got it.
Right, but they gave him that opportunity. You know what I mean? He got over quickly. But
true.
He also knew who he was going into the main roster. Well, you know, it's funny because the Trick Williams that we have now wasn't the Trick Williams we had a year ago. He was kind of.
It wasn't a Trick Williams. Shit.
He was kind of in that weird in between, where he had just lost the championship to Oba. He was kind of face, kind of heel, tweener. He lost to Carl Fredericks, if you remember, and everything was kind of up in the air with him. Like, there was, like, even to him, like, there was a possibility for him to get cut, honestly, at one point. But he figured out, you know, the trick that we have now, and he went into the main roster strong. The bad timing with Sol is that she's in that happy medium of figuring herself out during her transition to the main roster.
Like I said, with I mean, I get your point. I just think that they could have defined something with Sol of an underdog trying to come back, because it made no sense to put her on debut on the main roster and lose to Liv when Liv's the most over person on that roster right now. I mean, on the Raw roster, that is.
I mean, the match was strong, I would say.
The match was strong, but it didn't serve Sol in the sense of, like, let's see, she loses Monday, she loses Tuesday. Now what? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
If she had a loss at NXT and then came, because I think that's what it is. I think it's just the back-to-back losses, because of the simple fact that she lost Monday and then lost Tuesday. If she had a loss at NXT and then came to the roster and lost, I could see it, because it's like, okay, you lost here, you ascended to the main roster, and then you lost. But the simple fact that she lost on the main roster, went back down to someone who she already beat, and then lost, it looks funky. It looks mad funky.
I agree. But somebody that's totally winning, I would say, is JC Jane and Fatal Attraction. I mean, they used her in 3 segments on SmackDown. and she had a match with Rhea Ripley. So, I mean, it kind of tells you how much they believe in JC. That, it's one thing to have a match with Liv Morgan, which, obviously she's a big star. But we could all agree that Rhea Ripley is that extra. I mean, she is the top tier, the John Cena of WWE right now. And for them to actually give her a match or debut night against Rhea, and that crowd was into it, and they did not like JC. So, and it didn't seem like this was like a one-off either. Obviously Fatal Attraction attacked Rhea afterwards, so like this is an ongoing issue.
Right.
I think that JC and Fatal Attractions is in a really good position right now. If JC was on her own, I would say, okay, she might sink. But considering that they brought, Fallon
The
and
whole they brought the whole
they
they
brought the
brought
whole
the whole
group,
crew.
it's gonna work, at least for now.
Well, well, I mean, it works because JC is a JC is to the women's division what Ethan is to the men's division, right? A person who you can boo, a person who you think that should get beat, and a person who can actually piss you off when they win.
Yes,
And that is that. And I think that to me is probably the best thing JC has going because she's going into the roster. And it's funny because I met her on, got to meet her at WWE World. And I was like, you know what's funny? People doubt the yeah, I thought of that. I was like, people doubt the shit out of you. And then I just told her, just keep winning and prove them wrong. Because that's going to be the biggest catalyst for her is the ability to prove people wrong. The ability to, oh shit, if you think you don't like her now, wait till you see her pin Rhea Ripley.
exactly.
Then you really gonna hate her, right?
You know,
Or
low low
if
key,
you
I
think you don't
actually
like
thought
her
they were
now,
gonna give
wait
her
till
the
she
W.
beats Io.
Low
Right.
key, I thought they were actually gonna give her the W on Rhea, just to just cement that. Because before, like, the crowd like really hated her. like like I get that she broke up Paige's first match back on SmackDown, but like they understood the assignment, and I think JC like responded to it fantastic, like an expert. And I think when she gets the championship, and I think that at some point she's going to get championship, she is going to be operating on a higher level than all the other girls because of what you just said.
I'm gonna
I
let you
will.
know right now. Do not be surprised if she wins Money in the Bank.
That would be, yes. That would fit JC perfectly. I will give her the biggest compliment I can actually give her, and I'm going to say that JC Jane is the female Chris Jericho
Wow.
because she puts it all together. Well, like you said, she's very beatable, and yet she wins the matches that she's not supposed to win. So if what she did on NXT translates to the main roster, it's going to be 10 times what she did on NXT, undoubtedly.
I mean, yeah, because like we said, they don't like her. So when she wins, all it does is pisses them off even more so.
Right. Two people that got vignettes for debuts was Ricky Starks and Blake Monroe. I kind of feel like that was kind of cutting the the wings underneath from underneath them, like right from the beginning, because you don't really know anything about Ricky Starks doesn't need a match, to kind of start off his career. He needs a promo. You don't really know who Ricky Starks is until he starts speaking. And I feel like they're kind of doing him a disservice at this point by kind of just giving him a promo. a vignette, I should say. Mariah May, I mean, it could start off rocky from the beginning, but I could definitely see her getting her feet underneath her when she needs to. Um, but I don't. I think that the next couple of weeks are going to be very apparent for Ricky, whether he succeeds or fails, because they gave Ethan exactly what he needed to succeed. But I don't know if they're going to give Ricky that same, grace. What are your thoughts?
Well, they both can talk. Although I don't know what they're trying to do with Ethan in the sense of are they going to make him a face or a heel? Because
He's totally a heel.
because my thing is with Ethan, you know what he is. In the same way with JC, you know their role, right? Their
Right.
role is kind of semi-defined while you're trying to figure out because and that's the other thing too. You got like a bunch of heels jumping in at one time. It kind of gets kind of overcrowded in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you're just giving, okay, JC comes in and attacks one person, then Blake comes in and deals with another person, and then Ricky comes in and deals with another person. Because I could see like a Ricky trying to go after Carmelo. Um, I could see Blake trying to go after. I'm trying to think who the hell is the face on SmackDown right now
Tiffany.
because they didn't. I mean, Tiffany's kind of stuck with Julia. I can see her going after Jordan Grace again.
But, I mean, we did
Um,
that.
re- they did it in NXT, but you know that. You know they are not above recycling. Come
This
on,
is
bro.
true.
So,
I mean,
uh,
clearly,
so
Javon
I
and
could
Ethan.
no, yeah, exactly. So I could see them doing that just to get like feet wet intro. You know what I mean? So I, I'll give that the benefit of the doubt. Because only so many people, only so many heels can debut at one time,
Right.
and clearly the stars were Ethan and JC for this week, and then you can kind of start integrating the others in the next week.
Well, returning stars is the Street Profits. They helped Seth Rollins take on the Vision. And they looked good too. So, I'm gonna be honest. I popped for the Street Profits. They came out to their original theme, which is always appreciated. So
Finally,
yeah. So I mean, their run on
fucking
SmackDown
overdue.
was abysmal. I'm sorry to say it. Um, I felt like they've always worked better on Raw anyway. So hopefully they could be the Street Profits again and work well and maybe get another title run. Like it's been like 5 years. I mean, it might have been 6 years since the last time they've held Tag Gold.
No, they had it last year.
They had it last.
Yeah, remember?
I don't remember that.
Oh wow, you don't remember? So they carried it. Remember, they carried the tag titles up until. I mean, they were the reason the tag division was kind of strong as far as like match wise.
Hmm. I
Because it was them, the Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, the Wyatt Six.
I mean those championships hot potatoed so much. Couldn't I it was kind of I couldn't remember who had them at what point.
Well, I do know the profits on them. I do know that because they were kind of pissed. Remember, they were the champs last year and they didn't get a match at Mania, which made them pissed off.
I do remember that. Yes, they had the ladder match the night before, if I seem to remember.
So yeah, but back on Raw, it gives the Vision. It gives Paul and Austin somebody to deal with, and now we just got to figure out why the Profits came out for Seth and them. So for Seth. So once we figure that out, or maybe the Profits just want to get back to being the Profits. So as long as they're back to being the Profits, honestly, like be quite honest, they be kind of lost as that pride shit. Excuse me. So I want them to come back. To be quite honest, I want the Profits that was whooping motherfuckers in the parking lot. I
Yeah,
ain't even. I, I ain't gonna lie to you. I want them Profits back.
yeah, I agree. I mean, those were the good Profits.
Those were the good Profits. The I'm gonna beat your ass in the parking lot. Come see me in the ring Profits. Like
Well, hopefully it actually works out. Some new potential signees. This is rumor and innuendo at this point, but there was maybe a bit of a tease on it on NXT. New Japan Pro Wrestling's Evil has reportedly signed with WWE and will be coming in. He obviously won't be using the Evil moniker. Maybe he'll be good. Who knows? Um, but
the Diet Coke of evil. Just 1 calorie, not evil enough.
not evil enough. Um, but yeah, uh, he's probably reporting to NXT to kind of figure things out. But another guy rumored and innuendo to be joining WWE is Hiromu Takahashi. Um, who, I mean, obviously, time bomb, like one of the biggest stars in New Japan at one point. Um, I I think that NXT would be great for Evil, but I mean, Hiromu, he's kind of on the older side at this point. Like, he's not, a young, he's not Javon Evans, let's say, but he can,
He's not a young lion anymore.
right. So I would feel like he's always had like that chaotic energy to him. Throw him on the main roster. Let him be that chaotic time bomb that we all know. Let him have a banger or two with Dragon Lee, and let him wrestle Javon. Give him. It, there's not a lot to understand with Hiromu, and he doesn't need to speak English for you to understand that this guy is just fucking out of his mind. Kind of like Io in some regards. So I think that if they do sign Hiromu, I think that it would be the best idea to just throw him on the main roster and see if he sinks or swims. But what are your thoughts? Evil and Hiromu, possibly coming to WWE.
Hiromu would have been dope if there was a cruiserweight division.
We don't want to do for 205 again.
But the problem is that in New Japan he got pigeonholed to that. That's why I kind of wish he moved up to heavyweight, because if he was heavyweight, he would have kind of got taken seriously on the main roster as a possible champion. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I mean,
So that's where it kind of it pigeonholes him in that regard. Evil will be okay because he has the size and the girth. And I'm not saying Hiromu doesn't. It's just that they're gonna have to do a lot of selling for him to be like one of the guys in the top to like upper card. Because I could see him getting stuck in that US IC division, never really kind of going beyond that.
I'm sorry, but I don't And I mean, I love Hiromu, but I never saw him being a top tier guy. I saw him in that, mid card intercontinental United States position.
Right.
I mean, unless the crowd really gets behind him, but, that's, an if, not a win.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that is another. Yeah, your list of God eaters is the if, not a win. So yeah, you're right about that.
Well, I mean, it could all just be for nothing at this point because WWE, well, TKO president Ben Shapiro and uh, stated that he and Aria Emanuel are in complete control of WWE's creative. That nothing goes. I mean, obviously Triple H is in charge of everything, but they have the last say so. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, it doesn't seem like that was new information at this point. I mean, they are his bosses, and I mean that is very prevalent at this point, considering the TKO the Pat McAfee Jelly Roll involvement in WrestleMania. So I mean, I would hope, and I mean that was the whole point of Cody Rhodes' promo on Friday, was let us do our jobs and just collect the money. Because I mean, these guys are not people that had anything to do with pro wrestling or know how pro wrestling works. They just distribute the money. So I mean, I understand where they're like, well, I mean, they brought WWE on a boom period where we were on the route to finishing the story with Cody, and people genuinely wanted to be at these shows and sell out. But even when they raise prices, people will still, going to these shows. And now, every boom period has to end, and, the product is not as good as it used to be. And, I understand where they're like, well, how do we raise that up? Well, obviously, first and foremost, don't have it WrestleMania in the same place you had it last year, but nobody told them that. I digress. But, obviously they're looking for ways to build it up, but they just made things worse, not better. You know what I mean?
I mean, we'll get to that when we get to Mania, but because I got a lot to say about that. But it's weird because they're trying to take what works in the UFC to work in the WWE and vice versa, right?
And it does not
And and
translate.
and and as a person that watches both, because I watch UFC and WWE, it seems like UFC tries to be more WWE with like the calling out and the promos and da 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 da, right? And then you see the WWE, they're trying to put more emphasis on, or TKO is trying to put more emphasis on celebrity and mass appeal to sell the product, not realizing that I see what they were trying to do. They're trying to get a celebrity in there to sell the fight between Cody and Randy.
But it didn't need it.
But the problem was it didn't need it because all you needed to do was have a good, and we'll get into it when we get to Mania. Night two literally sold itself
Yeah.
just based on the wrestling. Because if you had told me that going into WrestleMania that Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley would have a better match than Bakura and Liv, I'd be looking at you crazy. but that seemed to have happened. So that's why I'm like, they're still trying to interfere in something where you really don't need it. You just need to let the wrestling do its thing. And to be quite honest, I think they were probably the biggest emphasis on, oh well, we got to get these stars to get off of their like day off schedules, because it's weird that Brock would retire, the person who had the biggest part time schedule would 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 retire, right?
Right.
So something is trying to give, because Roman usually doesn't even have a full time schedule, and he announced one. But I think they're just trying to emphasize and maximize gain and profit, which is fine. You're a business, that's what you're supposed to do. But the biggest issue is that you're kind of trying to get away from what makes people like the wrestling in the first place, which is the stories. If the story makes sense, it sells itself.
Right.
I mean,
And that was
I didn't want to
prevalent
go back.
between the
I,
night 1 and night 2.
oh, it was fucking. Oh my god! Don't get me started. But we'll get there when we get there.
Did you want to finish? Was you done with your thought?
Yeah, I was done with my thought, because we're gonna. I know we're gonna get to Mania, and I don't want to spoil what the hell I got to say on Mania.
Well, let's talk about what going into WrestleMania. Um, they were obviously in, Vegas. Obviously a city that does not sleep. A lot of the wrestlers was housed in the Mandalay Bay and surrounding, hotels. And usually, like, in at times like these, like, fans would be, respectful and, not bother these people. Obviously you have some outliers here and there, but I would say that this was straight up savage for what these fans, and I loosely use the word fans, honestly, because we don't know why these people were here or not. But
Right,
they were crowding and swarming the wrestlers while they were, alone, or, on the casino floor, or, private time, let's just call it. As
right,
a lot of people seen, CM Punk swatted a phone out of a fan's hand that was taking a video of Bailey and AJ when they respectfully asked him, to stop. Somebody tried to take a video of Booker T on the toilet. So, I mean, these are not right people. And I don't know if these were people that were there for the show, or if these were people that were trying to get a fast buck, like, the people at the airport, or like
hmm
what. But, like, and I kind of, because I was in Vegas for Sunday and only Sunday, it didn't seem like the normal crowd you would see for a wrestling event. It did seem like it was a bit more off than that. And not like you could talk to a lot of these people and like they would be like your best friend like immediately. And
hmm
a lot of these events are, low key chill. And WrestleMania, at least night 2, which was the show I was at, these people were not chill. And like I'm I'm a bit timid, I'll say it, when meeting new people. But these people did not look like approachable, or like they were nice, or like ready to watch wrestling. Like there was a lot of agitation there. Maybe because they had to pay like massive thousands of dollars for, shows. I could not tell you. But I mean, you were there like a lot longer than I was. What was your experience with all of this?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I got there. I was at Thursday, so Thursday to Monday, give or take. So roughly, I mean, I got there Thursday night, so I missed night one of WWE World, but I was there from like day two till Sunday. They had one Monday. I didn't go because I went home, just for disclosure. The atmosphere, in a sense, I could. I'm gonna put this in a three prong answer because there's three groups of people that I kind of noticed. You had the people that were there in Vegas that had the money and was able to do everything and enjoy the experience, and they had no complaints. Right?
Okay.
That that's the swath of people. So the people who had the money for the meet and greets, bought the meet and greets, went to the meet and greets, went to the shows, so on and so forth, right? Then on the middle portion, you had the people who probably had money for Mania, maybe did a couple of WWE Worlds, didn't really do the meet and greets, more like Superstar Row, kind of that lane, right? Not as a good a time as someone who probably had the money to do everything, or the $10,000 Cody bus, but pretty decent. I think I would put myself in that category, right?
Hmm.
But then you got the people who, on the extreme side, who feel they don't have the money for the meet and greets. They pretty much probably put everything that they had just to get there. And wanting to maximize the most of being able to see wrestlers, even though it infringed on people's privacy, if that makes sense.
I mean, it does.
Because because the biggest thing that people had problems with, or the biggest thing that wrestlers have problems with, was the fact that parents was using their kids as shields to get them to, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that group, the group that, hey, dude, all I had to do was, I don't have money for the meet and greets. The meet and greets may have been sold out. I don't have, the people that I wanted to meet, the only time that I could meet them is probably in the hotel, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um,
But do you think that there was that many people? Because like
yes,
it was like a mob of
yes.
people.
No, no, yes, yes. You'd be surprised. Yes. Depending, especially when you consider that a lot of the tickets didn't get sold until the day of. Yes, that's more people than you think.
Hmm.
And those are the people who are like, feel priced out. And I'm not saying that it's justified that they do what they did. It's just that they feel priced out and they think that they have no other alternative than to do this, which once again is not right. And and this is where this whole CM Punk lower the prices, those are the people he's kind of speaking for, even though those people are the people that are kind of infringing upon his privacy.
Right.
So it's like I said, it's just a weird dichotomy when it comes to that, because Vegas in itself is already an area where people are getting priced out. And then you throw in the factor of wrestling, which is generally usually an affordable thing for a family. And to be quite honest, since TKO took over, it just feels like people are getting priced out.
Right.
or not even feels like, people are getting priced out. Um,
How
so
significantly, how different was your experience this year being in Vegas compared to the last year when you were in Vegas?
um, that is a good question. I think last year I was in a different financial situation than I was this year. This year I was able to enjoy WrestleMania like it's nobody's business. But but then again, I'm a person who knows the system. So I know how to, because you got to think people are buying tickets, spending thousands of tickets for the FOMO, and no one's really holding the line until the final day. Like I'm the guy that like I'm holding the line up until like the final hour to buy a ticket. Because, but that's just how I play it. It's a risk. This, I mean, just like this year from last year, I pretty much was in the same area. Not like, I mean, I'm pretty much in the same area, Celebrity Row. I was with, I took a picture with Bud Crawford this year, just like I did last year. George Kittle was right there this year, the same way he was there last year. Hinchcliffe was there this year, the same way he was there last year. I think the biggest difference is that last year had a lot of mitigating factors that did not factor into this year. Last year was the first time in Vegas since WrestleMania 9, John Cena's last WrestleMania, the prestige in Las Vegas, um, the travel last year was not like this year. Um, so yeah, it was a lot of mitigating factors that kind of went into that. Vice this year, people were as much as people liked going to Vegas, you could tell people were pissed that they were in Vegas because they were looking forward to New Orleans because, like I say, New Orleans was a financial recovery for Vegas because New Orleans is very affordable, which is why people were pissed off about it. And then you look at the fact that people probably lost money because they put money into trying to get the room, and then all of a sudden it got switched to Vegas, and now they got to flip it to Vegas. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's already a lot of resentment running around there. And I can tell you right now, I went to both nights. Night one was vastly less populated than night two.
I kind of got that. Like it was
Uh,
as somebody and I will get there when in a moment, but like you could see like there was definitely a lot of empty seats night one from TV.
oh yeah, I mean, dude, I was night one. I was right behind Bud Crawford the entire time, second row.
Yeah,
I mean, Deion Dawkins was still there. I mean, he was there. He was cool as shit. I mean, Andrew Wiggins was there. The cast of Street Fighter was there. They weren't there night two, but yeah. But night two seemed to be the night everyone kind of cared about.
yeah.
And mainly, because of course Brock's there, and then the Roman Punk match. But
Well, you know who wasn't there?
it's,
Ric Flair. He was actually banned from coming to WrestleMania because he threatened to kick Tiffany Stratton's husband's ass. For context,
ex-husband
they were never
or
married.
ex-boyfriend.
They were
What's
they
ex-boyfriend?
were dating. But I
Ex,
mean, that's
yeah,
what he said.
ex-boyfriend.
But I mean, why is Ric Flair threatening Ludwig Kaiser? Like, legitimately, why is this an
I
issue and a problem?
I have no clue. I could not tell you. But Ric Flair he's been running his mouth anyway because he's like, I should have inducted Rodman. Da, 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 da. So
But
it,
why would
the
Ric Flair
relation,
have inducted
the
Rodman? It made the most sense for Kevin Nash to do it.
But the thing is that like the relationship that these wrestlers have with WWE is not the same relationship that they have with TKO.
Right.
And that is the biggest factor because keep in mind, but it's 3 years, old habits die hard. It's hard to go from it's like, how can I put it? The WWE was like the Los Angeles Lakers, the mom and pop shop where everyone knew everybody and everything kind of ran off of nepotism and relationships. And they both sold it to a group of people who want to run it completely differently than a mom and pop shop.
I think it wouldn't have mattered who ran WWE. I think that they still would have banned Ric Flair.
Nah, because I don't see Vince banning Ric Flair. I could see TKO banning Ric Flair, but I don't see
No,
Vince.
I
If Vince was
totally
there,
see
he
Vince.
was not banning Ric
I
Flair.
would definitely see Vince saying, "God damn, pal, why is he threatening Americano? 86 it."
Just, no, nah, I don't see it. Uh, I don't see it. I mean, Triple H able to smooth everything over. I'm pretty sure he would have smoothed that over.
I don't
But
think that Triple H has time to smooth things over at this point. He's forever stressed.
I mean, it ain't of his own attrition. Everybody just, I mean, don't fuck up his pacemaker, man. I don't need all that shit.
They're definitely testing it for sure.
Oh yeah, they're putting it on strain. They're straining the fuck out of it, but that's neither here nor there.
Alright. I think that will conclude our news for this week, unless there's some grievances you have that are not prevalent to WrestleMania, or it will be included in WrestleMania talk.
Actually, yeah, I do. I really do because I'm just gonna give people the game when it comes to WWE world. Um, because I
Awesome.
happen to know the staff, the Fanatic staff that ran it, because that was the same crew that ran it at Survivor Series. Dude, it, if you really don't care, it's easier to buy one photo and get all your friends into one photo than to try to buy all these individual photos. Unless you just really care that you want the photo by yourself. Because I mean, they allow up to like 4 or 5 people. My mom, my mom came and she took pictures with wrestlers, and she's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" But I'm dead ass serious. We were sitting there. We met JCJ, Joe Hendry, uh, yeah, JCJ and Joe Hendry. But I also got one with Oos and Shawn Michaels. But my mom specifically with Joe Hendry, and I forgot the other person. Like, who the fuck are these people? And I'm like, but it's easier to do it as a group. I will say this though: the people that run WWE World, if you get on their good side, they will love you to death. I can. They will move heaven and earth to make sure that you get what you know paid for. Um, WWE World as a whole, not that bad. It's not that bad. I just don't like the fact A, you don't have a military discount. Um, was it? A, you don't have a military discount. B, you should if you're really trying to maximize on these pictures, there should not be a sold out. C, um, I can't stand the podcasts because they had a bunch of podcasts. People were sitting in the middle of like, don't get me wrong, Shannon Sharp is cool. Why the hell is he there again? Daniel Cormier, I get it. It's a TKO thing. Um, a lot of people like doing podcasts. It is counterintuitive to me at a WWE World because if you're gonna build a ring, you might as well have matches, which is what they did. But it should be constant matches, so it keeps people entertained, right?
Right.
Um, There were random superstars walking around WWE World. Nikita Lyons was one of them. I saw her mush a dude who kind of got too close, rightfully so. but, but yeah, it's nuts. It's the concept of WWE World. I get. I just wish a couple of things that they fine tuned, but other than that, it was pretty good. Get rid of the podcast. Um, what else? What the fuck else? I'll tell you everything offline because I felt like Ocean's 11 the way that I shot to make with this shit. But
Well, that will conclude our coverage of the news. And now a quick word from our sponsors.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside. Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.